Hello, everyone. I'm Andres Chavarria, and this is my week 3 introduction speech. Imagine for a moment the perfect president. What kind of attributes does this person have? Are they this crazy, eccentric, celebrity business tycoon type? The or the traditional, polished, career politician type? And when you think of this person, do they inspire faith and trust in their actions and what they say? Tulsi Gabbard is that person for me. She is the current director of national intelligence, and to this day, I think she could have been the greatest president perhaps this country could have ever had from the 2020 campaign. Now, through her through all of her accomplishments, through those events, is is proof of how perseverance and dedication can make a difference in this world. How those virtues and one person can still make a difference in this world. Now, when you look at her career, that's where it's almost unbelievable. At the age of 21, she is the youngest elected legislator for her state of Hawaii. 21. At 20, I don't know about you, but at 21, I wasn't going to be elected for much of anything. She is then she decides then to join the Army National Guard and is deployed to Iraq. Now, during this time, she decides she could run again for office for Congress, but she decides to dedicate her time to the military effort, to her fellow soldiers, because she feels an overwhelming sense of duty to them. She says this a lot in various interviews throughout the years, and within the next 17 years, she's deployed again to war, to Kuwait. She rises through the ranks all the way up to major. She's elected. She decides after the battles of war, her tours, to run again for Congress, and she's elected 3 consecutive times for her state of Hawaii. Um, and after all this, in 2020 is when and probably a lot of people learn more about Tulsi Gabbard. Um, Back then, Trump was running again for re-election, and he was the one to beat. The Democratic Party, or nominees for the Democratic Party, were a crazy bunch. And to be honest, they didn't inspire much faith, at least not in my opinion. But Tulsi was different. I saw something different in Tulsi, and when I learned about her, I couldn't even believe all her accomplishments. I thought it was made up. I thought it was like a made up person to combat Trump. She was a combat war veteran, and she had all these accomplishments already at a young age. Um, so she grabbed my attention not only through her accomplishments and her career, but through her sincereness and her authenticity in those debates and interviews at the time. I felt a difference in her rhetoric. She was more about her strategy and her vision for the nation, as president. And of course, back then, it was all about the game was slandering and name calling, and of course, she gave back as much as she got to with hard facts. Um, but that was the way. That's the way the campaign was ran. And unfortunately, she didn't get the nomination, but she did not disappear. She did not disappear. She stayed in the media. She stood up and spoke out about all the corruption and the secret bureaucracy, that behind the scenes type thing, because she had experience with all that. And it's, you know, after 4 years later, after the Biden administration, after all of those events, she's still around, and she decides to switch parties. She promotes the Trump administration, and she switches to the Republican Party. This is unheard of for politicians. And not only does she sacrifice a lot of time and effort spent with the Democratic Party, but she sacrifices, you know, political gains such as influence and whatever, finances. But that in itself is a testament to her character, her duty. Um, to me, that shows just how prudent she is and where her loyalties lie. Her loyalties lie for the nation. And to this day, I see her as an idol and a true American hero of our country. And I am proud to know that she is serving our people and our country. And it makes me want to do better, not only for my family and my community, but also for my country. Thank you.